Hey everyone, how we doing? Not sure if that started right or not. It sort of like froze on me. It's rain's gacking it down outside. Well, apparently it is legit. It is legit autumn now, so the rain has to be expected. It doesn't really matter what season it is, really. Is in the UK, you should just expect rain. Right. Obviously, this is not the chirpiest of subjects in the world, but I do feel because of that, it often gets sidestepped and ignored. But it needs to be addressed, and that is life stresses and how they can affect our training, both the actual physical training side of it and the recovery side of it, and even the diet side of it. Because if you're going through a bad time and you haven't prepped your food for the day, or even if it's prepped and you sort of say to yourself, do you know what, tuna and salad cream with pepper ain't going to do it today. I want something, dipped in fat, which is going to make me feel a lot better. So, how does the life stress? Obviously, well, it's everything is controlled by the brain. Everything, the emotions, obviously, but also the physical side of it, and the obviously, with the stronger, with the heavier weight you're lifting, the more you're going to be taxing your central nervous system, whereas the central nervous system will lead through, and Tom, the brain again. So, if your brain is under emotional pressure, it can affect the brain waves from shooting where you actually really want them to be. This is why you do see a lot of lifters slapping themselves and beating themselves up before they actually go to lift it, because that adrenaline charge that the sort of like anger, ragey part of the brain gives them gets a weight up, and for a little while after it, they're still like, rah. So that is how, in some cases, negative emotions can in fact pay off in the long run. But the problem is how it can affect your concentration. Now, let's say, for example, a deadlift. I remember Benny Magnusson someone used to like slap him around the face and pull his cheeks before he went, and he was a bloody good deadlifter. So, But anyway, if you can lift like that, then I would be like, yeah, go for it. My slight query is, if you're something slightly more endurance based, again though, if you can stay angry for the entire time it takes you to do XYZ event, you can go for it. But do you really want to be walking around 24/7 angry? No. So unless you've got the perfect way of switching it off, maybe you have, but I'm going with a rule of thumb, people, and I would say your average person can't really just switch their anger on and off. It just happens. It just happens. So yes, any form of life stress can obviously, well, it depends. There are times when I've been able to switch off stress which has been going on more long term. Like when there was a possibility I was going to be, having to move house. All throughout that time, I did still carry on training. Some days were worse than others, but I carried on training irregardless, as I would standardly. But that was a tough stress to be going through. Yesterday I had work at the crack of dawn. I got a workout in, but I had to shave it short because time was running out. So that's a life stress which can affect my training. And as I say, it's not just the physical side of the training. It's not just the actions itself. It's the other parts around it. We all know we have to have a half a decent diet if we want to improve we'll keep it on my length of plane at the moment. If we want to improve our strength, you need to be eating food that's good, because there is absolutely no point in just filling yourself up on all the junk you can to get as big as you can. Because as I said, when it comes to start doing moving events and what have you, if you're competing, you're not going to do it, are you? And even in the day to day, it's all very good being big and strong and massive. I think this was possibly more of an issue for powerlifters, and certainly it would have been for strongmen way back when the endurance wasn't as big of an issue. I mean, it's always been an issue, but not maybe as big. But you know, I mean, if you're big and strong and but yeah, you know, you're 10 minutes down the road, you're panting for breath. That's not good. That's not good. And most of the time, the reason it's got like that is because you've got your body as big as you can, as quick as you can, and you haven't done that living off healthy foods. Healthy food has been in there, but your pie chart, if you like, is essentially who ate all the pies. Yeah. So yeah, and of course, again, as I said, if you've got life stresses, things dragging you down, this is where, if you can prep your food, sort of like maybe like a day in advance, or you can prep all your meals for the day in the morning. Right, make my breakfast, eat my breakfast. Right, there's my lunch, there's my dinner, and there's my small meals in between. Sorted. But again, it depends how busy you are, and how busy you are, how busy doing stuff you don't really want to do. It can all be a stress. And then, of course, at the end of the day, rest. How much sleep are you getting? How much sleep are you able to get? If you go into bed, if you go to bed and you're still stressed and your mind's focusing on other things, it's going to take you longer to drift off. And maybe it's one of those days when I've got to be up for, like, the alarm's set for 4:30, and I don't actually get to sleep till around 11:30, 12 o'clock. That's rubbish. And then I know it's going to be a stress in the morning when I wake up. I'm stressed, I'm tired. So, how do we cope with life stresses? Well, I have no idea. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. I've got ideas. They're just hard to implement. First, I would say make sure you are doing things in your life that you love. That go beyond just the training, because it's going to reach a time when you're doing the training, your own training, when you're done, when your session's done, you ain't going to be lifting anymore. So do something you love. Do what I'd love to do. Unfortunately, now there's another video. I'll talk about that later. But the main unfortunate at the moment is I do have a day job I do not entirely like. What I would like to do is what I am qualified to do, and that is to coach people to become stronger, and fitter, and healthier. Majority mostly stronger. Well, see, I can do the others, but a personalised focus for me is for being a competitive strength athlete. So, you're strong man, you're strong woman. That's what I know. And, become a stronger, fitter, healthier version of yourself. Anyway, that's coming into a different sales pitch. I'll go into that later. But, if you had that job, well, failing that, the guitar, I've got a gig coming up. Again, that's nothing to do with anything. But it's definitely a life positive that I've got coming up. So, yeah. So find if we all need a job of some sort, find one that you love. And none of this is easy. This makes it even a bigger life stress. None of this is easy. However, another way of taking it is take time for relaxation. Take time, sit down, meditate. That's good for it. Yoga. maybe Tai Chi, something really gentle. Now it's hard for me to have loads of gentle times because I have got 4 children, so I can be halfway between a gentle, relaxing time, and then I'll hear Dad, Mum, and then, well, that was a good minute. So yeah, this is the thing. This is where it's not easy whatsoever, unless, I mean, there's things that make it a little bit less difficult, but there is no avoiding the life stresses. Don't use them though as an excuse. Don't be saying, well, I'm not as strong as I could be, I'm not as healthy as I could be because I stress. It's all because of the stress. Because if you know it's all because of the stress, you really need to say, okay, how much am I doing to decrease the stress? Again, this is the thing, it's not easy. It's not easy. In many ways, the easiest bit is the actual lifting. The actual physical training, movements of it, that's the easiest bit. Not necessarily to get to like silly, heavy weights that you've got to do if you're going for a competition. But if you're lifting to get, not necessarily to compete, but to get stronger. To get stronger and fitter and healthier. That is genuinely easy. It doesn't feel easy when you're, when you're sucking all the air out of a deadlift. But it is a lot easier than making sure you're eating a completely healthy plan day in, day out, day in, day out, cheat day, day in, day out, cheat day, day in, day. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. And that is nowhere near compared to the grief that stress can bring on the body and affect everything else. So make sure you are taking time for yourselves when you can. So you can just try and get rid of those stresses or address them. Have someone to talk to. Have a mate to talk to. Talk it out. I know sometimes a lot of people might be like, I haven't seen him for so many years. I haven't seen her so many years. I'm now saying, hi, how are you? By the way, my life's been horrible. But at the end of the day, if they're true friends, they're going to be there to listen to it, right? So that's it. That's life stresses. There'll be more videos coming up. I know I keep saying that and then they don't end up coming up because life stresses. Anyway, yeah, that's it for now. Keep strong, keep happy, keep healthy, and I'll speak to you all later. Ta-da.